Hey guys, my name is Ben and together with MP we are now living on this boat full time. There is one big issue though, and that it is not ready. For example, this is our toilet and I think it deserves an upgrade, or we deserve an upgrade. So I'm going to do everything I can in my power, in our power, to get a toilet ready. If I can't, I'll get as close as I can. It is a lot of cutting, fiberglassing, measuring, gluing, I don't know. Let's find out, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, you're the best. Otherwise, just give it a little like, and most of all, enjoy. Why am I in a dinghy though? It's because we have to drill a hole in the hull, and that's going to be on the port side. It's going to be the outlet of the grey water box, or the box that's going to collect the sink water, or also the drainage water of if we have the shower and stuff of the... Are you coming with me? It's a little bit bouncy. Shouldn't be an issue though. Let's see if that's right, and then we can use the cup saw. My gosh. Oh good, let's start drilling there. I hope I don't break a drill bit with all this stuff going on, but yeah, has to be done. So the waves are just picking up loads, and it's just getting a nightmare and almost dangerous. So I'm going to do this first, finish this first thing tomorrow morning when it's nice and flat. There's still so much to do. I'm going to bring up the fiberglass now. I'll leave that open to get some air. We do have a solar powered massive vent that we got at Bacon Sales in Annapolis, which I'm going to install in there, but that's not been a priority so far. So I always leave this open when it's nice and sunny. But let's put all this on the roof now. I think I have everything. All I need to do is now cut the fiberglass in the right sizes before I start messing with any epoxy, because it only gets harder. I'm going to weigh the fiberglass down because it's quite windy, and I'm just going to start applying it, I guess. I always find the prep work is the most annoying, of course, and it takes the longest. I've got two supervisors here, and I hope they stay here and don't go walking on the fiberglass, especially with the resin on. Next step, I'm going to make small batches, just do a little batch, spread it out with a spatula, the little rubber spatula, so no drips, just like use as little as possible, keep it as dry and only the essential, and hopefully this will be cured, well, will be cured by tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'll do the other side. This is all the pieces of the puzzle with a layer or layer of fiberglass on one side. I'm going to let them all cure and dry, harden, and then tomorrow flip them and do the other side. Managed to do it all before sunset. So let's let the chemicals do its job and continue tomorrow. Look how calm it is today. I am almost not moving, so I've got the drill and I'm gonna finish this hole, and I'll tell you what, I bet there's only 1 more centimeter to go. But you never know, it's just like finding our outboard engine. You could be so close, but just not there. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Tiny bit to go. And then we can finish the bathroom. Or some of it, as much as possible. Told you, 1 centimeter, not even. I'm happy how this is going, really happy. Later just need to cut the edges off. I'm going to epoxy all the end grain of the plywood, all the edges, so it all sucks in and doesn't suck in any moisture later. And then I can put them all in place, and that's the exciting bit. Okay, it's nice and sunny, so this should cure in no time. Oh, and then installing it all in place, just having a bathroom. This is like a massive step. Thanks for all the support, guys, and thank you to all you subscribers. It really means a lot. If you're not a subscriber, it will mean a lot. Just click that button. The more subscribers we have, the nicer this is all going to turn out. It's this magical YouTube algorithm. Yeah, that's how it works. Now, you know there are pros and cons of building the boat on the water, but there is also one massive pro that we can do while we're waiting for stuff to cure.
Which is?
You'll see.
Paralyzed, like no disguise, no shame. Paradise, the grandest prize, no game.
Ah, look at Leaky.
Paraclete shows pair of hearts to the sun replies, this is worth the fight, angels sing. This is the Big Bang, the cracking of the code. This is the chord that made the first spark explode. This is the music that made the whole world turn. The love that we all came from, into which we now return. And turn, 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 turn. And turn, 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 and turn. Holy souls resting, tired and worn. Travel far, followed all the stars and the sun. Now we're here with a silent ear and one.
As I'm not too confident about Ben catching a fish for lunch, I'm gonna make myself a smoothie.
Together and this is the Big Bang, the crack of
Lovey,
Yeah,
how was your catch?
I didn't catch anything. Behind me you can see every single piece of the head fiberglass on both sides. I'm just going to cover the ends with a layer of resin just for that extra precaution before I bring it down to the assembly line. It feels like these steps have been taking so long because it's been so much curing and waiting and prepping. Once this is all done, I can bring it down and start fastening it all in place, and that's where the big changes are going to happen. The epoxy, I'm going to leave it curing upstairs. Now, I have an idea. Clever or unorthodox or bad. Comment below what you think. I know some wooden boats put cement in their bilge. I'm going to do half that. I'm not going to add it to the planking underneath. I want it all on top of the frames, our ballast. So what I was thinking, as this is not going to be accessible anyway, is to fill it as high as I can with cement. It'll add as ballast, which we need on this side, the port side, forwards, but also it'll make sure all these stones are even more securely held in place. So let me know what you think about this, because I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm going to do it. So far, I am loving this consistency. It's not sliding down into the bilge, it's staying on top. Let's hope it keeps. Maybe I can close all the holes like this and then eventually add liquid, a more liquidy compound on top. One bag of concrete is in the bilge, so it's 20 kilos plus maybe 2.5 kilos of water. What's that, 50 and a bit pounds for you pounders. MP went to go and get 5 more bags, so 100 kilos. And in the meantime, I went to go and get loads and loads of stone and pebbles, so I can fill up all the gaps and it's not only concrete. Also filled any of the seams and joints with epoxy and carbosil here. Looks like a mess, but that's gonna be sanded soon. The sun is setting now, literally right now. You can see about a tiny bit of the sun, and I'm gonna keep working until the entire flooring of the toilet is full of cement and stones, or if we run out of the 100 kilos of cement again. But check this sunset out. I'm just gonna enjoy this, and then I'll get started. Now that I think I have closed up most of the gaps, so now I've poured all these pebbles in and I've made a more liquidy cement to hopefully chuck on top, and it'll kind of sink in between everything without dripping into the hull. So I think we're almost done with this. Not that liquidy, but still more than what I've been doing before. What do you guys think of this? Comment in the comment section below if you would have done this or not. Now, the whole time I was doing it, I was not regretting it. I just think it's so cool that it's all off the planking, above the frames, but also really low down. So you've got an extra 160 or 150 kilos of ballast under the head, under the bathroom, where we're gonna have it all fiberglass shut anyway, without any access to this ballast. Well, definitely tomorrow. Let's start putting all this flooring in place and fiberglassing it in place, and that would be so cool. This cement has dried super nicely overnight, and I've been playing around with a bit more epoxy in there, closing off the last gaps. Also been playing around with the hoses that we're going to use for the plumbing of the loo. Also done one more thing, well, two more things over here. Let's head over to the balcony platform. I've made the hole for the drain, and I've also made two more holes here, which I had to put the hoses through towards the siphons. That's all got epoxy on as well, so we're going to have to wait for that to cure. I think the next few steps are quite straightforward, putting all the plywood in place and so on. Not much I can do about that curing, but one thing we can do is we could just change the scenery up a bit, because I am so focused, or we are so focused on getting just one project finished, which is the head, that we're not really working on other things. And I think there's something we can do at the same time as working on the head, for my sake, for my sanity and yours, and that is starting to work to get those sails up. I mean, that's just something that I've been wanting to do for so long, but I was waiting to get all this stuff done to do that. Now, one thing that has to be done before even thinking of bringing the sails here is sanding the masts and varnishing them. Imagine the mess that will make on the sails if we have them up already. And I don't know which of you remember the color of the mast, but it is absolutely stunning. So I'm just gonna get the palm sander, get a few sanding pads, and get cracking at it. I've done the first part in my mind. I'm doing it in parts up to this stainless steel piece. Look at the color of this. It's one solid piece of wood. It's not hollow. It's not got no joints or mends in it. Now I am gonna start working in blocks. I'm gonna remove these cleats, probably slide this up a bit so I can sand under here. Also put a layer of epoxy. There are two masts, so let's get on with it. See how much we can get done. I'm happy about this sanded. It took a bit longer than I thought so, because that was a pain to remove. That was a pain to remove. Either way, I'm going to get epoxy resin here and in there, and all the rest up to here is going to be varnished to then continue higher and do as much as possible as quick as we can. I actually need to let the batteries charge because they got a bit cloudy. But yeah, super happy with this. Let's go and get some resin. And once that's cured, should be quite quick, we'll varnish it.
Paralyzed lane, no disguise, no shame. Paradise, the grandest prize, no game. Paraclete shows a pair of hearts to the king. Sun replies, this is worth the fight, angels sing. This is the Big Bang, the cracking of the code. This is the chord that made the first speck explode.
Amazing here.
This is the music that made the whole world turn. The love that we all came from, into which we now return.
I know it's a little bit of back and forwards, but now that we're working on the mast and this, while that's curing, I can literally go and get that piece of plywood, one of the pieces of plywood that's been fiberglassed on both sides, put it down here and just get the flooring in already, because that will bring this so much more forwards. And then we can fiberglass that in place, put epoxy wherever we need to, and work on the back pieces, fiberglass them in place, put epoxy wherever is needed, and continue like that. And whenever something's curing, I can go back up to the mast, for example, like if I can't stand on something, and continue sanding, because I want to get those sails up and I want to have a toilet. So let's do them both at the same time. Handy removing stuff from under it. I got too excited and clumsy and then dropped you guys. Here, I need to somehow fix this now. Anyway, I'll have to slow things down a bit. Oh, that sucks. Yesterday was a bit hectic after all, but today's gonna be a good day. Even though this week a lot of things kind of didn't work for us outside the build, which is why we're both so exhausted. I'm gonna have this coffee right now. Once the last sip has been sipped, I'm going to make sure every single piece of plywood that I have cut, maybe except for the front of the cupboard, but every single piece of plywood that's going to close the head is going to be in place today, with a bunch of cabosil in all the joints and maybe a strip of fiberglass as well. So today's going to be a good day, a productive day, where we're going to finish a job. It's going to get messy. I'm going to have this coffee and I'll see you in a bit, where we're going to get that job finished once and for all. The plan for now is to cut strips of fiberglass that I'm just going to use to join this plus the walls or the bulkheads, with a bunch of cabosil behind it, like thickened epoxy behind it, and using a roller with thin pure epoxy to just glue it all onto each other and give it a nice round curve. Bit by bit we're going to have everything ready for the walls, flooring and so on. And then it's just about getting messy. First things first, I'm going to make an epoxy resin and chuck a bunch of cabosil in, which is the white powdery stuff. Mix it so it's nice and solid, like peanut butterish, slightly more liquidy, mayonnaise-ish. And then I'm going to fill all the corners with it and chuck the fiberglass on top so it makes a nice edge. And that's what I learned from the almighty David Shee, who's, well, I'm putting one layer of fiberglass, he puts like 5 million. But once these are all done, then I'm going to go with this pot with resin and just roll on the flat bits, not the corners, you'll see. So let's get this done before it cures, because I've actually already mixed it. hoping to get the walls in at the same time, but that was going to be too much work. So let's let that cure and put these parts on over here. That'll be quite exciting. Now, the reason I'm not connecting anything yet is I'm kind of testing this invention, as in testing the access to everything in future. So I'm installing everything in place and then we'll see how easy it is to connect everything. Now, this is an easy access point, made it easier to connect everything. Wiring is easily accessible, so that's why I did it, if you're wondering. The last piece of the puzzle was right here. Messy, messy, messy.
You. Ta-da! Whoa!
Looks good.
Is this helpful?
Yeah.
Nice.
I need to leave or I'll drip on epoxy. Last time I was working with epoxy, my sweat ruined it, so I'm going to stop before the last drop. This drop comes on from my nose and I can't talk anymore, so I have to stop.
Can you tell us the whole story?
Once. Picture this, you have to fiberglass. That's a horror story. Get all the fiberglass off. What's that noise?
Not bad night jumping in the sea with the full moon watching you there. You look like a jellyfish.
Don't get my hair wet. No splashing. Even though we managed to get all of this done and still sitting on the bucket, well, we will be for a little period until we get all the rest finished. But before we head off, thank you so much, Alvin, Yun, and João for becoming a patron. And David Hooton and Philip, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for the donation. And see you guys all next week.